So in this video guys, I'm going to show you how I assembled the X-Carve, which Inventables were kind enough to send to me, and I honestly cannot thank them enough. It is an amazing machine. It was tough to build, but it was well worth it. Alright, so this literally just came in the post, so I'm just going to open it up. So this is going to be my first time opening it up, so you're going to get to watch with me guys, and I honestly can't wait to do this. Everything comes the way for you that you want it, so everyone's won't look exactly like mine. Like obviously you have all your core components, everything like this, but the drag chains, you don't need these. So if you want to save some money and don't feel you need them, you don't get them. But personally I think these are very important. Or say I got the little tool kit. Most of the tools that come with this you probably have yourself, but it's nice to have it. And like the digital calipers, I didn't have any of these. And the Acme threads, loads of these things you can cut down on if you don't feel that they'll be worthwhile for you to spend that extra money. But I'm not going to take everything out now because I'm not going to assemble it until the weekend. But like, I definitely would recommend getting bigger motors if you can and stuff like that, but I just can't wait to get into this. We've just finished assembling the X-Carve, me and my dad. We put the two bearings on using the flathead screws, and then we put the V-wheels on using the button cap screws, and for the bigger holes you use the eccentric nuts, and for the smaller holes you just use the normal hex nuts. It all went together pretty well. And so there are 4 motors in total on the machine. This is the first one on the X-Carve with the drag chain clip on the end and also the terminal block. And here are the 2 Y plates. Just make sure you have all the eccentric nuts and hex nuts in the right place, and obviously the bearings and V-wheels, and make sure you keep them all separated appropriately. The motors will eventually go on these as well through these holes. So here we're just showing the X-axis movement of the X-Carve on the 2 Y plates, which are attached using 2 rails. These were probably the most challenging bit to put together because they're not pre-threaded, so it was pretty challenging. And here's also the Y-axis movement. It runs really nice and smoothly. The final motor is now in place. This moves the Z-axis using the pulleys and the Acme thread with the Derlin nut on it, which eventually will have the spindle mounted to it. As you can see here, terminal blocks were also put on the side, and there are limit switches, but in the end I didn't decide to use these. When the future I might later solder them on. Now some of the wiring has been put together. It's quite easy to do this. You just strip them and then screw them into the terminal blocks. Just make sure you go in the correct order as stated in the videos on Inventables.com. The spindle is now mounted, and we've also put the drag chains on. The drag chains make a massive difference to the machine, and I love the way they clean up the wires and keep them nice and protected. Here's the power supply, and this is what all the wires end up getting connected to. This takes a while, but it's quite easy to do. Just take your time and be careful. But this is pretty much the final step. First test, I'm actually pretty happy with it. There's really nothing I can do now, and I think it was down to me just collaborating it so well, and because it says 15 minutes on the website, but I spent a good 40 minutes just making sure the V-wheels were the way they should be and the belts were tensioned properly and all the holes aligned properly, it went the right depth, and it just cut beautifully. So I have to say I'm really impressed, and I can't wait to do some more projects with this. Again, I just want to thank Inventables so much. I cannot wait to make future videos using the X-Carve, and it is a great machine. Obviously it's a challenge to build and it does take a lot of time. It probably took me on and off about 8 or 9 hours, and that's being completely honest, but I'm very methodical and I do be slow about things. But my dad was a massive help. My dad worked with me the whole way through it, and without him I would have struggled a lot more with the wiring especially. So just take it step by step, and the instructions are brilliant, I have to say. There's a couple of things that like maybe I'd suggest Inventables maybe come pre-assembled a bit more, like say the power supply here, maybe a couple of things like the G-shield are already put on or something, you know. couple of things like that. But obviously it's a kit at the end of the day, and you're going to be getting things in separate bits. And just to clarify, Inventables told me to say an honest review. They did not tell me to make sure it's definitely positive or anything, but I honestly can't say too much bad about this. Obviously, you know, when you're getting a kit, it's going to be hard to assemble in that because it is a machine at the end of the day, but the instructions are so well put out on their site. Just make sure you look at the video and read what you actually need, like when they're saying button head screws, because in the videos they don't tell you what measurements say it is, you know, like that way where it's a 12mm screw or whatever. So just make sure you read and look at the videos. But other than that, I can't say too much wrong, guys, and I cannot wait to make more videos with this. So just remember, a clean shop is a safe shop. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to configure your own X-Carve today, just go on to Inventables.com, where it's fully customizable and you can do it to exactly your liking. Thanks again for watching, and please remember to subscribe.